Smith. I'm not sure if you know me or not. You might have heard of me, Buddy the Elf. Yay, there you go. I'm here to talk about an organization out of Macon, Missouri. It's called Shoes from the Heart. I just learned about it about a year ago. They actually put shoe closets in school for kids that need them. So a lot of people from Macon know about it, but if you live somewhere else, talk to your school. Let's get them in there. It's a great program. I love everything about it. Meg and Donnie, you guys do a fantastic job. I'm a firm believer in it. Reach out to them. Spend some money tonight, because a lot of this money goes to them. So thank you, guys.
First tractor up in the 8,500-pound limited pro stocks. Now again, this will be the test blow of the class. He has the option to go ahead and either accept or turn down this bolt. The slide operator also has the rights to be able to decide if he wants to reset the slide or not. But it's going to be Glenn.
297 leader Glenn Goss out of Run the Demon Tractor. Brian Arnold, minor disturbance. For Brian Arnold on the minor disturbance out of Scioto, Illinois. Now on that 4-1 side. They changed the sled, but they didn't think they changed it enough, so they're going to go ahead and reweight the sled one more time. So Jesse Geiser will now become your test puller of this class. This is not something that has really happened very often, where they have to reweight the sled twice. This track is fooling the guys. I mean, it is a heavy track, I guess, if you want to call it that way. Starting line's a little bit tough for these guys to get taken off. But Jesse Geiser out of Afton, Iowa, black 1066, he will be your first puller of this class. Good pull there for Jesse. Again, he is a promoter of the Junction-Town Showdown that's going to be coming up here next weekend up there in Osceola, Iowa. We will have Doug Ruth on the Ruthless Binder coming up next, and Adrian Cox on the Hickory Hooker. Be followed up then by Justin Smith on Moody. 294.93, 294.93.
Yes, yes.
All right, on this 8,500-pound limited pro stock, Bailey Horsemeyer, Fulton, Missouri. On the tractor they call Night Moves. Your leaders out there at 312.07. That was Glenn Goss on the Demon out of Columbia, Missouri. He is your current leader. And Jesse Geiser on the black 1066. He is going to take his pull of 294.93. So we are official on that 4-1 limited pro stock side. Again, in the 8,500-pound limited pro stock side on this near side of the grandstand, this is Bailey Horstmeyer, Fulton, Missouri. And this is Night Moves. Great pass there for Bailey Horsemeyer on the night moves. Backing up to the sled of that 4-1 side, that is going to be Doug Ruth out of Downing, Missouri on the Ruthless Binder. .08, 301 and 08. That is going to leave her in the number 3 spot. Sitting in number 2 is Andy Caldwell on Chaotic at 301.36. Your leader is still Glenn Goss out of Columbia, Missouri on Demon at 312.07. Josh Hanna, Kate Woods Comet out of Balco, Missouri, be coming up next. Michael Pullman out of Columbia, Missouri on Gomorrah. And Matt Bell out of Ashland, Missouri on Family Tradition. Your next 3 up in this 8,500-pound limited pro stock side. On that 4-1 side, now we are going again. Downing, Missouri, Doug Ruth, the Ruthless Binder. Great pass there for Doug Ruth on the Ruthless Binder. They had a rough weekend in Mound City, Missouri last week. Not able to get the tractors to kind of run how they wanted to. Struggled with one, had to basically scratch out of the second hook on the second night. Not able to get both tractors back to the track, but they will have 2 Ruthless coming up here in just a little bit. But Doug Ruth, you're going to be a new leader at 320.72, 320 and 72. So that is going to knock Jesse Geisler down to the number 2 spot at 294.93. Now, the Weezer tractor and Hellraiser International Addiction, you'll see them tractors come back later on in the class. They reweighted the sled, so that'll let them guys go back and down to the last place, basically. And they will come back later on to make their passes and their attempts. So but we have Josh Hanna on Kate Woods Comet over here on this 8,500-pound side. Out of Balco, Missouri. Had a really decent weekend over there in Mound City at the Rumble by the Refuge. But again, Josh Hanna, Balco, Missouri, K. Woods Comet. Good pass there, but we had a late entry, I guess. They got placed in between them, but that was White's Nightmare. When the tractor was going down the track, I noticed that there was not the K. Woods Comet. Kind of saw that, and it's like, okay, we got an issue here with our lineup on my sheets. My sheets got printed off earlier than what the other ones did, and we had the late additions. So we will get that scored away, but again, the Wife's Nightmare. So I do apologize to that. That was Craig Shoei on Wife's Nightmare. His distance, 296 and 43, 296.43. So that is going to leave him in the number 4 spot. Your leader is still out there at 312.07. That is the Demon. Sitting at number 2, Chaotic at 301.36. Night Moves is at 301.08. That is Bailey Horsemeyer. She's sitting number 3. And then the Wife's Nightmare is now sitting number 4 at 296 and 43. That was Adrian Cox on the Hickory Hooker out of Trenton, Missouri. Again, your new leaders out there at 320.72. That is Doug Ruth on the Ruthless Binder. Adrian Cox on the Hickory Hooker. Going to go 317.07, 317.07. That is going to put him in the number 2 spot. That'll knock Jesse Geiser down to the number 3 spot at 294.93. But Doug Ruth on the Ruthless Binder is still your leader at 320 and 72. Now we're going to bring up Josh Hanna on the K-Woods Comet. Again, we need to have a big shout out to Sheraton Valley for being the title sponsor here of the Show Me Showdown. I want to thank them very much for stepping up and becoming the title sponsor of the Sheraton Valley Show Me Showdown here in Macon, Missouri. And we do have something special going on here. Steel Towing right out of Macon here. They have added some money to a class that I'll go through here in just a second. But again, Josh Hanna out of Balco, Missouri. This is K-Woods Comet. Great pass there for Josh on the K-Woods Comet. I believe you're going to have a new leader. Your leader was out there at 312.07. Looks like he has passed that leader cone out there, but we will wait for the measurements. How about 318 and 77? You have a new leader, 318 and 77. So Josh Hanna is going to shake everything up. Glenn Goss is going to go down to the number 2 spot now at 312.07. Andy Colwell on Chaotic out of Eugene, Missouri is going to be there at 301 and 36 in that number 3 spot. And again, want to thank Champion Seed for being a sponsor of the Western Series. If you're looking at becoming a dealer in some seed, if you're a farmer or you just have interest in the agronomy part of farming and you want to become a dealer, talk to Champion Seed. They got dealerships that are available right here in this area. Champion Seed, again, they're one of the leading seed companies. So if you want to jump on board with Champion Seed, please do that. I know Larry is here from Champion Seed. See once if we can't get him maybe to come up here in a little bit, tell a little bit about Champion Seed here later on in the evening. But again, they've been a longtime sponsor of the Western Series of the Pro Pulling League, so I want to thank them very much. And then we also have our Silver Series here tonight. All right, we got Justin Smith out of Bell, Missouri coming up. 9,500-pound limited pro stocks. Your leader is out there at 320.72. Doug Ruth on the ruthless binder. But this will be Justin Smith on Moody. Justin Smith out of Bell, Missouri on Moody, chasing that 320.72. Doug Ruth, and then Adrian Cox on the Hooker sitting there number 2 at 317.07. .25, 304.25. That will move him into the number 3 spot. Well, anyway, getting back to steel towing out of Macon. Now, what they've done is they said the tractor that makes the 2 longest pulls, they're going to add the distances up. So what they will end up doing at the end of the pull, they are going to present the tractor or the team that has gone the longest distance between the 2 pulls. It does not matter what class it is, but that winner will go home with an extra $2,000 from Steel Towing out of Macon, Missouri. So if you can't, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Steel Towing on doing that, because that is a huge amount of money that they stepped up to the longest distance of the 2 nights, and that's going to be all classes here, but the longest distance, they will go home with an additional $2,000. Michael Pullman on Gamora took a hard right turn down there at about 190 feet, 200 feet. Started going to the right. Was getting a little bit sucked over to the left side. Got a little bit nervous about that out of bounds line. Hit that right brake, and boy, did that brake grab and took him way hard right. Gonna go 284.69, 284.69. So your leader is still Josh Hanna out there at 318.77. Sitting number 2, Glenn Goss on Demon at 312.07. And then Andy Colo on Chaotic is sitting there in the number 3 spot at 301.36. Next tractor coming up is one good-looking tractor. Kinder Rao. This is going to be the high-class hooker. Hail out of Billings, Missouri. Again, another one of our great sponsors, Kawasaki Parts Warehouse. We understand that your Kawasaki is your pride and joy. It's what frees your mind on weekend trips across the clear country roads or simply gets you to work. And this is why you should take excellent care of it. Look no further than Kawasaki Parts Warehouse to help you keep your beloved Kawasaki in top shape. We're accredited dealers in Kawasaki parts, accessories, gear, apparel, and more. For more information, go to KawasakiPartsWarehouse.com. On that 9,500-pound limited pro stock side again, this will be Kendra Rao, Billings, Missouri, high-class hooker. She is chasing Doug Ruth out there at 320.72. Going to get that chain tightened up. We've got green lights on this sled, green flags on the track. Kinder Rao, Billings, Missouri, the high-class hooker. Good straight pass there for Kinder on the high-class hooker. Again, your leader, Doug Ruth on the Ruthless Binder, sitting out there at 320.72. Over here on this 8,500-pound limited pro stock side, this is going to be Matt Bell on the Family Tradition. Again, Hot Shot Secrets Pro Pulling League is very happy to be down here in Macon, Missouri for the Sheraton Valley Show Me Showdown. This tractor pull's been around the pulling world for a long, long time. I remember watching Dave Marino pull the Show Me Showdown tractor a couple of times in my early years of announcing. But we are getting ready to go here on this side again. Kinder Rao's distance, 313.68, 313 and 68. That is going to move her into the number 3 spot. But again, Michael Pullman, Matt Bell out of Ashland, Missouri. This is Family Tradition. Your leader is out there at 318 and 77. That is the K-Woods Comet. But again, Matt Bell, Family Tradition. Matt Bell, Family Tradition. He had to be out there over 318 and 77 to take the lead away from Josh Hanlon, the K-Woods Comet. We are waiting. 310.90, 310.90. That should put him in the number 3 spot. Over on the far side now, we are going to go to Rod Schottel, Savannah, Missouri. Old school case. But this is going to be Old Black Magic. Good pull there for Rod Schottel. Tractor's usually campaigned by his grandson Gage, but Rod took the seat. Actually, he ran it over in Dillon, Nebraska at an event over there that we had with the Nebraska Bush Pullers on Thursday night before we were at Mountain City, Missouri. So on that 4-1 side, Macon, you have a new leader, 3:22 and 45. 3:22.45. So that is your new leader. Going to knock Doug Ruth down to the number 2 spot at 3:20.72. Sitting at number 3, Adrian Cox on the Hickory Hooker at 3:17.07. All right, this is going to be Craig Shoei coming up. This is the Showtime 2. Back in the 70s and early 80s, this was a popular brand of tractor to have out on the pulling track. Of course, it was campaigned most of the time as a D21. A lot of times what you're seeing now is they take the D21 chassis and then they will update it with the newer tin work. But Alice Chalmers, good to see it back out on the track. Again, this is the Showtime 2, Craig Shoei. Great pass there for the Showtime 2, 70-80 Alice. That is the tin work that it is campaigning and sporting here tonight. If you can't hear them, they're selling popcorn down here. If you want some popcorn, raise your hand. I believe it's $1 a bag. $1 a bag. If you want some, get your hand up. They might not be able to hear you, but wave your hand, get their attention. But all you have to do is supports the Macon band. So that's where that money goes on there. So supports the Macon band. The Showtime 2 goes 304 feet even, 304 even. So that will move him into the number 3 spot. If I got my number 4 spot. All right, that'll put him in the number 4 spot as of right now on the Showtime 2. Over on that 4-1 side now, we're going to go to John Meyer Jr. This is the Meyer Performance R&D. They hail out of Broadhead, Wisconsin. This tractor held the lead over at the Rumble by the Refuge for quite a while. Last weekend got knocked off there at the very end, but still had a very successful weekend over there at the Rumble by the Refuge. Thank you. Again, John Meyer Jr., Broadhead, Wisconsin, Meyer Performance R&D. On this 8,500-pound limited pro stock side, Aaron Niemeyer backing up to the sled on the Pickney bottom deer. 308.97, 308.97 for John Meyer Jr. on the Meyer Performance R&D. Again, Aaron Niemeyer, Marthasville, Missouri, the Pinckney Bottom Deer. One of the other great sponsors we have through the Hot Shot Secret Pro Pulling League, Mack Trailer Manufacturing of Alliance, Ohio, is respected as the nation's foremost manufacturer of dump, flatbed, transfer trailers, and pneumatic tanks. Let Mack build you a trailer needs the level of quality you deserve. Experience the excellence of Mack. For further information, visit macktrailer.com. Here, Niemeyer goes 295.76, 295.76. John Deere 4000 getting brought out onto the track over there on the 9,500-pound limited pro stock side. This is going to be a tractor hailing out of Worthington, Minnesota. Mike Bausema on the limited edition John Deere 4000. If you want to talk about some people that are dedicated to tractor pulling, that is the Bausema family out of Worthington, Minnesota. They go all over the country to tractor pull whenever they can, wherever they can. They farm up there on the out of Worthington, Minnesota area. But you'll see his brother Steve coming up later on the special edition. But they will hook the Silver Series and the Western Series of the Pro Pulling League. They hook with Nebraska Bush Pullers. They will also hook with East Central Iowa. And they will also go hook some NTP events if they can. But your leader, Rod Schottel, is out there at 3:22.45. This is Mike Bausema, Worthington, Minnesota, limited edition. Started out going down that right side and got pulled a little bit more to the center of the track than what he wanted to. Ended up a little bit left to center there. Not where he was kind of aiming at whenever they started off, but that's where that tractor decided it wanted to go. Well, Mike Bausema's, this is going to be 289.07, 289 and 07. Next tractor up hails out of Paris. This will be David Dougherty. This is the high price hooker. Good pass there for David Dougherty of the high price hooker. Your leader is still out there at 3:22.40, or no, sorry, wrong sheet. 3:18.77. Josh Hanna. .04, 3:15.04. That will put him in the number 2 spot. 3:15.04 for David Dougherty on the high price hooker. Over on that 9,500-pound limited pro stock side, this is going to be Dustin Berry, Eufaula, Oklahoma. This will be the coal roller. He'll be followed up by Larry Steinman out of Martinsville, Missouri on the Colonel. And then Steve Bausma out of Worthington, Minnesota coming up on this special edition. The next three tractors in the 9,500-pound limited pro stocks. But again, Dustin Berry on the coal roller. Again, Dustin Berry out of Eufaula, Oklahoma. This will be coal roller. Got into the heavier part of that track over there. You can see getting into that left center. That track is really, really tough for these guys, taking a lot of horsepower. But the coal roller will get you his distance here. I had somebody turn me in a phone that was found in one of the porta pots over on the pit side. If you lost your phone, it is a U.S. Cellular phone, I can tell you that much, but it is up here at the announcer stand. To claim it, you must be able to unlock it. So if you lost the phone, please come over here and you can, like I said, if you can unlock the phone, you can have it. Dustin Berry's distance, 290.98, 290.98. That'll bring up Larry Steinman on the Colonel. Steve Bausma Special Edition and then Chandler Burns on 2 Ruthless will be the next three tractors coming up, 8,500-pound limited pro stocks. This is going to be Chris Schweitzer, Excello, Missouri. This is bullheaded. Good pass there for the bullheaded. Your leader is still Josh Hanna in Cleveland, coming at 318.77. Sitting number 2, David Dougherty on the half-price hooker at 315.04. Sitting at number 3, Glenn Goss on the Demon at 312.07. Chris Schweitzer, bullheaded. Going to go 304.20, 304 and 20. One tractor left to go to 8,500-pound limited pro stock. That's going to be Scott Wiederholt out of Balco, Missouri on the Smoking Weed. Over there on that 9,500-pound pro side, this will be Larry Steinman, Marthasville, Missouri. On the Colonel. Be followed up by Steve Bausman Special Edition, Chandler Burns on Too Ruthless, Randy Stuckenschneider on Family Feud, and Jerry Mason on the Green Mule. That will round out that class of those tractors. Then we'll have Hellraiser, International Addiction, and Weezer coming back around. So again, out there right now, Larry Steinman, Marthasville, Missouri. This will be the Colonel. Never good whenever they start bouncing like that. They usually, it's not a good sign when they start standing it up on the wheelie bars. It unloads that hitch, makes them tire spin, drops that front end back down pretty hard, and then they will sit there and keep you doing the same thing, because then all of a sudden the tires load back up again, stands that front end back up, and once it starts getting into that, it's very hard to get out of that. But he's going to go 254 and 55 for Larry Steinman on a very, very rough ride on the track that they call Colonel. All right, tractor hooked up on this 8,500-pound limited pro stock side. This tractor used to compete as a 4-1 limited pro stock 2 years ago. They broke the crank in it, decided to go ahead and kind of drop down a little bit, so they went down to the Pro Farm class to kind of get back in it. They ran that for a while, stepped back up, went into the 8,500-pound limited pro stock side just a couple years ago, kind of working their way back up. But this is going to be Scott Wiederholt out of Balco, Missouri. This is the tractor they call Smokin' Weed. Took it down there. He's trying to get into that leader, see if he can be the tractor that will upset the apple cart. Get on top of that leaderboard there. Last tractor out again. Your leaders out there at 3:18 and 77 is Josh Hanna on the K-Woods Comet. Scott's going to come in at 3:13.54, 3:13 and 54. So I will give you a rundown of the class here just as soon as the computer gets them figured out. In the top 5, we're going to go Matt Bell on the Family Tradition. Number 4 is going to go to Glenn Goss on the Demon. Number 3 is going to go to Scott Wiederholt on Smokin' Weed. Number 2, David Dougherty on the High Price Hooker. And the winner of the class, 8,500-pound limited pro stocks, Josh Hanna on the K-Woods Comet with the winning pass at 318.77. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, put your hands together for the 8,500-pound limited pro stocks. We are going to change things up a little bit. We're going to go super stock diesel pickup pulling on this near track. Steve Bousman out of Worthington, Minnesota on that 4-track, the 4-1 limited pro stock side. This will be the John Deere 6030. You saw his brother out here before, Mike Bousman, on the John Deere 4000 limited edition. They call this one the special edition. Again, Rod Schottel in the Old Black Magic is your current leader, 322.45. Followed up by Doug Ruth on the Ruthless Binder, Adrian Cox on the Hickory Hooker. Worthington, Minnesota, Steve Bousema, special edition. Steve got into a wild ride, and he knew it right away at about the 125, 150 foot mark. He started backing that throttle off just to try to control it. Wanted to get it so that it ended up in one piece back down on the track. 238 and 56, 238 and 56 for Steve Bousema. Chandler Burns will be coming up out of Downing, Missouri on the 2 Ruthless. Randy Stuckenschneider out of Martinsburg, Missouri on the Family Feud. And Jerry Mason out of LaSalle, Illinois on the Green Mule. We are going super stock diesel truck pulling. You can see the cut tires on this, multiple turbos underneath the hood. Here in Macon, Missouri tonight, you have got the who's who of super stock diesel pulling. High RPMs, lots and lots of boost. I have watched these trucks on TV, on YouTube, on FullPull.tv many, many times. They are a wild, wild show to watch. These guys, they can put down some monster passes. But you will watch as they bring up the RPMs. And they have to get all the turbos in sync, so they are going to try to run them. They will slowly bring up the RPMs. They will get them, the boost started to build up. You will see them let the clutch out. They will continue to build the boost. Everything kicks in, the water kicks in, and away they go. But you will see tire speeds of 70, 80 mile an hour coming out of these trucks. This first one up, Terry Biggs, Deadpool. Terry Biggs out of Noblesville, Indiana on the Deadpool. Distance right now, 327 and 33. 327.33. We will see if he takes that or not. We have got 7 of these trucks here tonight. Going over to 9,500-pound limited pro stock side. This is going to be out of Downing, Missouri. Chandler Burns. This will be the 2 Ruthless. Again, Chandler Burns chasing 3:22.45. Rod Shottle, Old Black Magic. This is Too Ruthless. Good pass there for Chandler Burns on the Too Ruthless. Again, the last two trackers we had to go down. If you can see where his tracks are at, though, he is farther to the right than where Larry Steinman and Steve Bausema were. Chandler Burns' distance going to be 3:04.68, 3:04.68. So we're going to go to Randy Stuckenschneider out of Martinsburg on the Family Feud. Jerry Mason out of LaSalle, Illinois on the Green Mule. So the Hellraiser Hellraiser International Addiction will be coming up next, and then Weezer on Keith Myers. Driving that one, he will be the last tractor of this class. You saw those Hellraiser and Weezer earlier. So I need to know, Macon, Missouri, do you like the super stock diesel trucks? You have got 6 more. This is going to be Van Hazley coming out of Fairmount, Indiana. This is the Rock Hard Ram. How many of you have seen the super stock diesel trucks on TV, video, YouTube? Ever seen them in person? Like I said, they put on one great show. They are a masterful piece of equipment. The Hazley machine sponsored Rock Hard Ram. Van Hazley sitting on board of this truck. And these trucks will be up in Osceola, Iowa next weekend too. So if you want to take that couple-hour drive, head on up there. You can go up to Osceola. You can watch them again. Again, Van Hazley, Fairmount, Indiana. He is chasing the distance of 3:27.33. This is the Rock Hard Ram. If you want to know kind of how this all worked, he did not open that thing wide open until about 175 feet. That's when everything, he kind of figured out that it was time to go. He put the throttle forward at that point in time, and that's when he went wide open. So he was trying to ease it out of the hole as far as he could, got down there to about 175 feet and pushed that throttle forward. So Van Hazley's distance on the Rock Hard Ram, 3:04.79, 3:04.79. That's going to bring up Justin Gearhart, cream of the crop. Everett Powell on the One Nation, and Adam White on Caretaker. That's the next 3 trucks coming up in the Superstock Diesels. Randy Stuckenschneider out of Martinsburg, Missouri, took a win out of the Rumble by the Refuge last weekend. But this is Family Feud. Pass there for Randy Stuckenschneider. Again, your leaders out there at 3:22.45. That is Rod Shottle and Old Black Magic. He's going to go 3:01 and 31. 3:01 and 31. 3 tractors left to go. The 9,500-pound limited pro stock. It's going to be Green Mule, Jerry Mason out of LaSalle, Illinois. Jared DeBugered out of Vincennes, Indiana on the Hellraiser International Addiction, and Keith Myers on Weezer. The last 3 tractors to go in this class. And then we will move on to our 6,000-pound extremes of the Excaliburs. We
help kind of edged me over there. I told him before I got on the tractor and strapped in that everybody was falling back running that center left line. I said, we got to go somewhere else. So he done some looking while I was strapping in and sent me left. That's where we went. So.
And it seemed like it was a nice, beautiful, clean pass over there.
It was a fun one. We really didn't have to brake. The tractor set, went. So what else could you ask for?
Yeah, great night for you and your team.
We're happy, very appreciative. So appreciate all my help, Hearts, Cox Motorsport, Damien and Holly, all my help, much appreciated.
probably do back to back. We got 2 more. I'll probably have to chase them down, and then the truck class will probably.
to the starting line. And again, every puller has a chance to make a pass, and they will give them 2 attempts. Now, if he went past the 100-foot under full throttle, he would have had to take his distance that he put down there. But since he did back out of it before the 100-foot mark, they are going to let him go ahead and make his second attempt. Clint Tucker's out there. There's a chunk of mud that was there. There's a chunk of dirt, chunk of the track. They wanted to get that out of the way. But again, for his second attempt, this is Hellraiser International Addiction. All right, Hellraiser International Addiction gets you his distance. Again, if you want to follow along with us, you can go to propulling.com and get on the events tab and then find the live results. The 280.45, 280.45. Now over here on this Superstock diesel truck side, this is going to be Tyler Witt, Warrenton, Missouri. This will be the American Pride. Again, your leaders out there, 327.33. That is Terry Biggs on the dead pole. He was the first truck out. Sitting number 2, One Nation at 320.20. Adam White will be up next. This is Tyler Witt on the American Pride. We will see if the American Pride went over that 327 and 33 put down by Terry Biggs on the dead pull. That is your current leader. Again, Tyler Witt out of Warrenton, Missouri, the American Pride, gets you his distance. .04, 316.04. That is going to put him in the number 3 spot as of right now. Your leader is still Terry Biggs on the dead pole. Everett Powell on One Nation is sitting there number 2 at 320.20. Tyler Witt is at 316.04. So that is in number 3 spot. Adam White on the Caretaker, and then Kent Crowder on the Shy Diesel, the last 2 Superstock diesel trucks. And then we're going to go super modified 2-wheel drives here on this grandstand side. All right, Keith Myers backing up to the All right, a little miscommunication on our part. Adam White on the caretaker is actually sitting in the number 2 spot at 3:20 and 20. One Nation Ever Powell, he actually did scratch. Little miscommunication on my part up there, so I apologize for that. But this is going to be Keith Myers out of Troy, Missouri on Weezer. Your leader is still Old Black Magic. Good pass there for Keith Myers on Weezer. Do not believe he'll be able to get into the leader area to take that lead away from Rod Schottel on Old Black Magic, sitting out there in the lead at 3:22.45. Keith Myers on Weezer is going to go 3:11 and 65, 3:11 and 65. I'll give you the rundown of the class here in just a second. All right, top 5 in this class. Number 5 is going to go to Weezer, Keith Myers. Number 4, a high-class hooker, Kendra Rao. Number 3 is going to go to Hickory Hooker, Adrian Cox. Number 2, Douglas Ruth on the Ruthless Binder. And the winner of the class out of Savannah, Missouri, Rod Schottel on the Old Black Magic with a distance of 3:22 and 45. Ladies and gentlemen, you can put your hands together for the 4-1 Limited Pro Stocks here tonight at the Sheraton Valley Show Me Showdown. One truck left to go in the Super Stock Diesel, and that is going to be Kent Crowder out of Attica, Indiana on the Shy Diesel. Last Super Stock Diesel truck we got here tonight out of Attica, Indiana, Kent Crowder. This is Shy Diesel chasing the Deadpool at leader at 3:27.33. Shy Diesel. Run to get down into that leader cone area. Kent Crowder, Attica, Indiana, the Shy Diesel. Again, your leader, the Terry Biggs. The first truck out goes 3:27.33, sitting in the number 2 spot. Adam White on the caretaker at 3:20.20. Number 3 is American Pride, Tyler Witt at 3:16.04. We're going to go 3:19 and 65, 3:19 and 65. That will put him in the number 3 spot. I will give you a rundown of this class. Finishing at number 6 is going to go to Cream of the Crop, Justin Gerhardt. Number 5 is going to go to Van Hazley on the Rock Hard Ram. Number 4 are going to go to Tyler Witt on American Pride. Number 3, Kent Crowder on the Shy Diesel. Number 2 is going to go to Adam White on the caretaker. And the winner of the class is going to be Terry Biggs on the Deadpool out of Noblesville, Indiana, winning past at 3:27.33. Put your hands together for the Super Stock Diesels.
and then he'll point at us and I'll get it. Or not. Rod, we saw the class kind of break loose with Adrian out there. What were you able to see and kind of make changes to give yourself the advantage to put you on top tonight?
I don't know, Leslie. The track was just really tricky tonight for everybody. I just got lucky and hit the right spot, I guess, and got it out there where we needed to be.
I'm not going to let you off that easy because I know that your team has some history of championships out there. But, yeah, it seemed like the middle got really contentious, you know, and it was really going to pull you one side or the other, and you really had to be on your game.
Yeah, you did. And, I mean, all of these tractors in this class have had championships. I mean, they're all great. So it doesn't matter. They all know what they're doing. The track was just a little tricky, and I lucked out.
And you guys really figured it out. I know it's a team effort for you out here. Congratulations to you all tonight and all the people that support you.
All right, thank you. I want to thank my family, my wife, my grandson and his girlfriend, and everybody at home that's watching, and just appreciate it. Thank you.
So normally you don't want to be first hook tonight, but this was like the magic spot for you, Terry. You know, I know you were out there watching, you know, as those tractors were running out there. What did you see to make you gravitate towards this left sideline?
I just leaned towards my crew, and they told me where to go, and that's where I went.
And it was a great run. Lots of power. It was ultra fast out there. You've definitely done some work over the winter.
Yeah, I can't say enough about O'Brien Diesel putting together a decent machine, awesome machine, because last year at Showdown was our first run out, and we won first time out, which didn't ever expect that.
So keeping the tradition going here and just rocking and rolling.
We're going to try.
Yeah, nice that you can come out after that absence and keep this train going.
Yeah, very good. Awesome.
go forward 84. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Excalibur 6,000-pound Extreme Superstock class here tonight. Put on one heck of a good show. We are going to move on to that track. This will be the Pro Modified 4x4s. That will be coming up on that pit side track. We have got 4 trucks left to go with the Super Modified 2-wheel drives. We're going to go to the Midnight Revenger, Jared Nelson. Bethany Nelson on the Sweet Revenge. Oh, sorry, we're going to change that up. We're going to go Chad Mayhill on 2-timing. They're going to split up Jared and Bethany. But then Bethany Nelson will be coming up with Sweet Revenge. And then to round out the class, Tanner Nelson on Midnight Chaos will round out the class. So again, Jared Nelson on the Midnight Revenger. And then we will go to Chad Mayhill on 2-timing. Bethany Nelson will then be coming up on the Sweet Revenge. And we'll finish up the class with Tanner Nelson on the Midnight Chaos. The Midnight Revenger fired up in the back, Jared Nelson. Again, Jared Nelson, Altamont, Illinois, coming to you next on the Midnight Revenger. Jeremy Nelson on the Midnight Gambler, your new leader at 321.82. David O'Driscoll is now sitting in the number 2 spot at 319.92. Sitting at number 3, going to be Michael White on Addiction at 313.91. And in the number 4 spot at 313.73 is going to be Jansen Smith on the stimulus package. So Jared Nelson on the Midnight Revenger out of Altamont, Illinois. He is going to be your new leader at 322.41, 322 and 41. He will be your new leader there. So then we're going to go to Chad Mayhill on 2-timing out of Reynolds, Indiana. And then we'll be followed up by Bethany Nelson on the Sweet Revenge. And then the final truck of this class will be Tanner Nelson on the Midnight Chaos. Again, your leaders, Jared Nelson on the Midnight Revenger, sitting number 1 at 322.41 on the Midnight Revenger. Jeremy Nelson on the Midnight Gambler is now sitting number 2 at 321.82. And then David O'Driscoll is now sitting number 3 at 319.92. We are going to our Pro Mod 4x4 trucks on that far track. We're going to start off with Bobby Crawford out of Kirksville, Missouri on True Grit. Cody Lewis on Fired Up right out of Macon. Steve Boast out of Pocahontas, Illinois on the Southern Belle. Josh Major out of St. Joseph, Missouri on Unfinished Business. Steve Bringer out of LaGrange, Missouri on Playing for Keeps. That is your first 5 trucks in the Pro Mod 4x4 truck class. And again, in this super modified 2-wheel drive, we're going to go to Chad Mayhill on the 2-timing. Now the Pro Modified 4x4 trucks, that is the class known as the Monster Motor class. And this is going to be Bobby Crawford on
True Grit. Good pass there for Bobby Crawford on the True Grit. Again, out of Kirksville, Missouri. Now, he will be the test puller of the class, so we will get his decision if he wants to accept that pull or if he wants to turn her down and come back later on in the class. And then we are going to go to Chad Mayhill out of Reynolds, Indiana on the 2-time, and he'll be the next super modified 2-wheel drive truck coming up. And again, your leader is Jared Nelson on the Midnight Revenger at 3:22.41. And we will be official on the modified 4x4 trucks. Bobby Crawford, Kirksville. Going to go 3:02.83, 3:02.83 for Bobby Crawford. Midnight Chaos out of Sydney, Illinois.
The truck continues to throw curveballs at everyone, but you kind of went a little bit out of the groove, Cole. How did that really help you get this win tonight?
I think it was all luck, honestly. I was hoping to be a little bit more left, but the track took me to the right, and I couldn't get out of it, and it ended up all right.
But sometimes if you just let the tractor float and do what it wants to do, that works out better anyway.
Yeah, it has a mind of its own sometimes, and its mind is better than mine, I guess.
Lots of smiles for your team tonight. I know it's a big group effort for you guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Without my family, we wouldn't be able to do it. And Brian Scott at Prairie Performance, and thank God. And Hot Shot Secret for doing this. Thank you.
We're still talking. Okay, so one more run, one more full run. So, I mean, you didn't really learn anything from that runner. Did you find the soft spots out there?
Yeah, it just didn't run. It petered out in the waiting.
So then you moved to the center where Nelson ran.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I would have thought you would have taken it this way.
Yeah. I just put his tracks over like 4 foot, get out of the
Which had that second pass tonight was very redeeming. I know you had some mechanicals with the first truck, but take us through what you saw out there, the changes that you made, and how you were able to get around those Nelsons.
I just kind of, I was actually wanting to go clear to the other side, and then Jeremy took the lead, and I'm like, I gotta follow suit, split his tracks over, and come out on top. Didn't do a very good job driving, but it worked.
Listen, as long as the number is the biggest one at the end of the night, that's all that really matters out here. I know you were upset about that mechanicals. That's one in the lead, but this is solid. You know, this shows it. You know, this truck is running hard, and you've got a good one out here this year.
Yeah, I gotta thank UD Motorsports. They give us a 4.9 Noonan to run. Actually, out of Chase the truck to win the farm show, and we're progressively getting better with it, figuring out what it likes and how to drive it and whatnot. So, yeah, we're amped up about it.
Yeah, I could tell, you know, at the end of the night, you know, the hugs between this crew right here, that was kind of a sight to see tonight.
Yep, I got to thank my crew, Cadence, Kyler, and Cody. They hold me together.
Another one of our great sponsors we have, SCS Gearbox. We know that many of our customers have specialized needs when it comes to their racing vehicles. With a strong understanding that no two racing vehicles are the same, we are willing to work with you and do our best to get you exactly what you need without fail. It doesn't matter if it is a replacement axle, transfer case, or a specialized gear set, we will do what we can do to get you what you need. We are willing to take the extra steps and time to make this the best product you will own and be proud to own. We accept any challenge and you bring to us to get that special product you need for your application. We work to make your ideas become reality. Contact us today at scsgearbox.com. And Hot Shot Secrets. They are the #1 fastest growing automotive lubricant manufacturer in the U.S. for a reason. They engineer high quality products that actually do what they say. See the entire line of products at www.hotshotsecret.com. Products also available nationwide at automotive retailers, farm and ag stores, truck stops, and more. Hot Shot Secrets, powered by science. On that Pro Mod 4x4 side, that was Steve Bringer, LaGrange, Missouri, on the Playing for Keeps. Your leaders, Cody Lewis on the Fired Up, is out there at 325.63. .94, 319 and 94. So Cody Lewis is still sitting there in the lead after taking it as the number 2 truck in this class. That is going to move Steve Bringer, Playing for Keeps, into the number 3 spot at 319.94. He will knock Josh Major on the unfinished business down to the number 4 spot at 318 and 70. Sitting in the number 2, Steve Boast on the Southern Belle at 320.57, and Cody Lewis on Fired Up at 325 and 63. We will go to West Island, Michigan for Jim Bosch on the Midnight Raider. Charlie Miller out of Creston, Iowa on the Foxy Lady, and Terry Hagendorn out of Thompson, Missouri on the Gunpowder and Lead. The next 3 trucks in the Pro Modified 4x4s. Getting things switched over for the Supermod tractors that are going to be coming up on this grandstand side. Fair Valley Performance. We consider FVP a leader in the diesel industry. Fair Valley has built a dream team which consists of 18 employees, many of which attended and graduated from the Madison Area Technical College Diesel Technology Program. Everyone here shares the same passion for diesel. We look forward to serving you for our diesel performance and repair needs. Check us out online at fvpdiesel.com. Again, another one of our great sponsors that we have through the Hot Shot Secrets Boat Pulling League in the Champion Seed Western Series is Champion Seed. I want to thank them for being on board with the Western Series. But they have seed sales opportunities available. If you are looking to become a dealer, please look up Champion Seed. Come find them, and we will try to get you into a seed dealership possibility that you can get into. Again, Champion Seed, one of the top seed companies in the United States. Steve Boast on the Southern Belle out of Pocahontas, Illinois. That is not a good sound when that happens. It's something inside of that engine has probably let go. Try to get another picture of if when they do the replay up there, if you can kind of see that replay board across the track to see once if there was any signs or symptoms of what was going on. It kind of sounded a little bit funny whenever he went past us here, a little past the 100 foot. Just kind of had a little bit of a mist to it, kind of. So hopefully it is nothing major, but usually when something like that happens and it sounds like it is running on about half the cylinders it's supposed to. But if you can, ladies and gentlemen, give him a hand. That is a hard running truck there. Jim Bosch on the Midnight Raider out of West Olive, Michigan. We'll get his distance here. 2:24 at 97. 2:24 at 97. Now, if you like what you got before in the Supermod two-wheel drives, we are going to go to the Supermod tractor. This will be Tom Owens out of Montgomery, New York. This will be the Ramblin' Rose. We are running our Supermod tractors, Super Modifieds. Tom Owens in Montgomery, New York. This will be the Ramblin' Rose, be the test pull of the class. We've got 7 of these super modified tractors coming up. But again, Tom Owens, test pull of the class. This will be the Ramblin' Rose. The Ramblin' Rose just said hello to Macon, Missouri. Tom Owens, again, out of Montgomery, New York. The Ramblin' Rose. He is going to set the distance. My body is still vibrating. .09, 327 and 9. Or .09. So that will be the distance if he accepts that. But then we're going to go to Dave Walsh on the Meristem Crop Performance. Over on that Pro Modified 4x4 side, we are going to go to Charlie Miller, Creston, Iowa, on the Foxy Lady. And again, Tom Owens did take that pass, so we are official 327.09 for the Ramblin' Rose. Hey, and after the pull is over, too, if you want to head on over to the building, you see behind the Hot Shot Secrets pro pulling trailer sitting over there, there's a band going to be playing. So if you want to go over there after the event tonight, going over there, some of the pullers and stuff are going to be in there. If you want to do kind of if you want to meet these guys, or you want to talk to these guys, or you want to take some pictures with them, again, ask them if you do that and stuff like that. But definitely holler at them, because they are got a band playing over there, so it'll be kind of fun. But again, that was Charlie Miller on the Foxy Lady, chasing Cody Lewis on the Fired Up at 325.63. He is your leader. But Charlie Miller on the Foxy Lady. And again, want to thank Sheraton Valley for being the title sponsor here of the Show Me Showdown. But 320.81, 320 and 81 for the Foxy Lady Charlie Miller. So another bullet dodge there by Cody Lewis. We are going turbine. This will be the Walshes. Now these turbines that you see that are going to be coming out on the track now, these actually come out of helicopters. It's pretty much how these turbines kind of come. I am not sure on the size of these turbines. I will try to find out that and be able to pass that on to you tomorrow. But again, this will be Dave Walsh out of Lemon Station, Wisconsin on the Meristem Crop Performance. And Tom Owens on the Ramblin' Low Rose. He is your leader at 327.09. So there are 3 turbines that are sitting on this chassis. But they are sitting there running on at least one right now, getting the other ones fired up. But it is a process to be able to get these things fired up in sequence. You can kind of see down there, they're trying to find the right stuff to get the other ones going. You can see the little bit of smoke coming out of the one that they're getting fired up. Tom Owens, again, your leader out there out of Montgomery, New York at 327.09. Dave Walsh, Linden Station, Wisconsin. This is the Meristem Crop Performance. Be followed up by Brett Burge out of Farmington, Minnesota on the Rank Seed Moneymaker. And then Roland Langer will be coming up on the Meristem Crop Performance. I will try to get some information from trackside. Not able to get the turbines to light. That is John Mears that is down there, that is talking to the guys to see what they need to do to be able to okay, what they're going to do is they're going to drop. We need a pull-off tractor. We need a pull-off tractor. Out on the track on that Pro Mod out of Thompson, Missouri. This will be Terry Hagendorn. We are going to need a pull-off tractor. So if somebody down there, if you can get into a pull-off tractor. But again, Terry Hagendorn, Thompson, Missouri, gunpowder and lead. And then you'll see Terry coming back here in just a little bit on the kicking up dust. But your leader is still Cody Lewis on the fired up out there at 325.63. Terry Hagendorn, gunpowder and lead. Good pass there for Terry Hagendorn on that gunpowder and lead. We'll see once if he got into the distance put out there by Cody Lewis on the fired up. Again, your leader out there at 325.63. Sitting in the number 2 spot is going to be Charlie Miller at 320.81. Sitting in the number 3 spot is going to be Steve Boast on the Southern Belle at 320.57. Going to go 313.74, 313.74. Moved around over there to the center more part of that Pro Mod 4x4 truck class. This is going to be John Stick on the Stickit out of Morocco, Indiana. Had a chance to talk to him earlier in the evening or earlier this afternoon. Last time really been competitive with the truck was, I think he said in 16, but there's stickers on the truck from 06, 07. That's kind of how long he was out of it. Had to take over kind of the farming, had an accident with or his son had an accident, so he had to take over more of the farm and didn't have the time for the tractor pulling. So he said farming came first, or trying to make the money came first, so he kind of took some time off, but decided to go ahead and get back into it this year. Had a little bit more time, still actually doing the farming, but just figured he try to make as many hooks as he could. Saw him last week down at the Rumble by the Refuge in Mount City, Missouri, and got to have a chance to talk with him just a little bit this afternoon, and kind of nice to see that truck back out again. And again, when I said monster motor trucks earlier, these trucks are in excess of 800 cubic inches that is coming out of these engines, so it is a monster motor, naturally aspirated. But again, it's going to be John Stick, Morocco, Indiana. Your leader is Cody Lewis out of Macon, Missouri, on the fired up at 325 and 63. Sitting in the number 2 spot, Charlie Miller on the Foxy Lady at 320 and 81. And in the number 3 spot, Steve Boast on the Southern Belle at 320 and 57. But John Stick on the Stick It will be up next. Terry Higgendorn on Kicking Up Dust. Steve Clem on Radical. And Brad Hunter on Knight Rider. That will be the 4 trucks left here in this Pro Mod 4x4 truck class. But again, chasing 325.63. That is it. It's put out there by the fired up truck of Cody Lewis. This is John Stick on Stick It. Well, he is going to be chasing 325.63. He is in the hunt. He said if you look on the weight box, he said it does say stick it out past 300. So we will see once Hivy gets over the 325 and 63. We're going to go 320.33, 320.33. So that will leave him in that number 4 spot. Now to bring up Terry Higgendorn on the Kicking Up Dust. Over here on this super modified side, we're going to go to the Rank Seed Moneymaker, Brett Burge, out of Farmington, Minnesota, coming up next. They got the Walsh Brothers Mary Street Crop Performance tractor pulled offside, take it to the back. Now again, you're going to see different combinations. You see the turbines, you saw the three engine mods. You're going to see 4 engine mods too. Checking to make all the cylinders are running. Again, Brett Burge. The Rank Seed Moneymaker out of Farmington, Minnesota. By Brett Burge on the Rank Seed Moneymaker. Got it shut down there at the end now. Again, your leaders out there at 327.09. That was Tom Owens on the Ramblin' Rose. Tom Owens went 3:27.09. The rank C moneymaker, Brett Burge, is going to go 3:27.15. 600ths of a foot, you have the new leader. The rank C moneymaker, Brett Burge, takes the lead away from Tom Owens on the Ramblin' Rose, who went 3:27.09. So 600ths of a foot separates number 1 and number 2 in this great class of Supermod tractors. We will see if we have the Meristem Crop Performance tractor coming up. Driven by Roland Langer. Or if we will have Dave Walsh come back around if they've got that modified figured out. But over there on that Pro Mod 4x4 side, this is going to be Terry Hagendorn. Thompson, Missouri. This is the Kicking Up Dust. Be followed up by Steve Clem out of Versailles, Kentucky on the Radical. And then out of Salem, Kentucky, Brad Hunter on the Night Rider. That is going to be the last 3 trucks we got in this Pro Modified 4x4 class. So again, Terry Hagendorn, Kicking Up Dust. Great pass there for Terry Hagendorn on the Kicking Up Dust. Your leader again is out there at 3:25.63. That's Cody Lewis on the Fired Up. We will see once if the Kicking Up Dust is going to take the lead. .98, 3:19 and 98. So Cody Lewis is hanging on to the lead yet. You got 2 left to go. Steve Clem, Versailles, Kentucky on the Radical, or Brad Hunter on the Night Rider out of Salem, Kentucky. So that is the last 2 trucks that Cody Lewis is going to have to try to defend off. And not much Cody can do but sit down there at the finish line and watch and see what happens.
Which one's coming out? Okay, so he dropped last. All the way down. Okay.
All right, so this is going to be Roland Langer coming out. Meristem Crop Performance. Another one of the turbines. Saw Dave Walsh out here before. Not able to get all 3 turbines to light. So they're going to let that one cool down in the back, work on that one to get that one to come up. But Roland Langer going to be sitting on the seat of the Meristem Crop Performance Modified. Again, 3 turbines sitting on that chassis. And again, after the pull is over tonight, if you want to head on over to that building there right behind that Hot Shot Seeker Pulling League trailer, they got a band that's going to be playing. Some of the drivers, a lot of the drivers and stuff will be over there, so you go over there and meet them guys. Want to get some pictures with them? You will have that ability to do after the show is over tonight. But again, Roland Langer, Linden Station, Wisconsin. Again, if you've been one of the winners here tonight, you have a box up here from Hot Shot Secret. Go ahead and come on up here by the announcer stand and grab that. Kind of a goodie box for being able to walk away from the win here tonight. Giving signals to the driver to which turbine they want to fire up next. You can hear them starting to spin up. Got all three ready to go, but Roland Langer, the Maristem Crop Performance. Got into a really bad hop on the back end, backed out of it. But we will see once what they decide that they want to do. But it looks like they are going to unhook him. Never good when you get that much horsepower start bouncing, because once it starts bouncing, it is not going to stop as they go down the track. Spinning them big 30.5, 32 rear tires. But we will get the distance and the determination. But over on that Pro Modified 4x4 side, we're going to go to Steve Clem. This will be the Radical. Hailing out of Versailles, Kentucky. But your leader is still Cody Lewis on the fired up out of Macon, Missouri at 325.63. Sitting in the number 2 spot at 320.81 is Charlie Miller on the Foxy Lady. Sitting in number 3 spot at 320.57 is Steve Boast on the Southern Belle. And then in the number 4 spot, John Stick on Stickit at 320.33. So there is three trucks in that Pro Modified 4x4 that are all within the 1 foot. That is close. But again, out of Versailles, Kentucky, Steve Clem on Radical. A great, smooth, clean pass there by Steve Clem on the Radical. Shooting for the distance put out there by Cody Lewis on the fired up at 325.63. Now, one cool thing about this Pro Mod 4x4 class is every one of these trucks that is here tonight has the chance to take home the win. At 319.49, 319.49. So Brad Hunter on the Night Rider. Springer's distance in that Meristem Crop Performance was 142.98, 142 at 98. Dylan Owens out of Montgomery, New York is going to be the next one coming up. This is going to be Thorne. Again, Dylan Owens out of Montgomery, New York is next one up. And this is Thorne, again, chasing 327.15. Brett Burge on the Rink Seed Moneymaker. He is your current leader. This is Thorne. Definite monster pass there. And Brad Hunter out of Salem, Kentucky on the Night Rider. He is a scratch, not able to make the call. So we will have our modified 4x4 trucks run down here in just a second. Again, Dylan Owens on Thorne. How about 358 and 92? Longest pass of the night so far, 358.92. Got great ground speed coming past us. I mean, he was going probably, I'd say probably 3 to 4 mile an hour faster than what the other guys were. Got the track to bite, got everything that he needed to, and kept the RPMs and the horsepower up and put down one monster pass again at 358 and 92. That will bring up Dave Walsh on the 4 aces. Brandon Simon on Simon Says. And then we'll see once if Meristem Crop Performance #1, that was you saw earlier, Dave Walsh, will be coming back if they can get that one to light all 3 of those turbines up. So 3 tractors left to go in this super modified tractors. And again, if you want to, after the poll is over, head on over to the building over there. They got a band that's going to be playing. Meet some people. You can meet some pollers that are going to be over there. Just kind of do a little bit of a meet and greet and stuff like that. So if you want to head on over there, definitely more than welcome to head on over there. Dance the night away. And then again, if you look at the Packer that's going by, all of them local sponsors that are on that Packer, without their help, the events like this could not go on. So definitely want to thank them. If you get a chance to on your way out, head on out to the Hot Shot Secrets tents that's back there. See if you can get a little sample bottle or something from them, or just talk to them about some of the products they got out there. They've got a great product out there. And again, they are the title sponsor of the Pro Pulling League, so want to thank them for jumping on board with the Pro Pulling League. Now this is going to be the Walsh Brothers 4 Aces. Saw the other ones before had the 3 turbines on it. This has got 2, but these turbines are larger than the other 3 that you saw. Getting that chain tightened up before they fire up that second turbine. And you can hear the wind up of that turbine as it's going around. But again, Dave Walsh out of Linden Station, Wisconsin. This will be 4 Aces. Again, your leader was out there at 358.92. That was Dylan Owens on Thorn. Dave Walsh on 4 Aces. We will get the measurement. .81, 334.81. And I have just been told that Meristem Crop Performance first turbine that you saw out will not be able to make another pass on it. They got to take that back. They cannot get that third turbine to want to light up, so they want to take a look at that. So we have 1 modified left to go. But that's going to be Brandon Simon out of Farley, Iowa. The Simon says. And
I don't know if we can write it this good tonight, Cody. You have put your blood, sweat, and tears, your family has as well, into bringing back the Show Me Showdown, and then to win it on top of that.
Well, it is extremely special. We've been out here all week. The boys, I mean, they have worked tirelessly this week. There's not been a lot of sleep, so I couldn't write that. I couldn't write that any better. That's amazing.
We are missing one member of the family, though, here, and I heard there was a little backstory about maybe you ending up here tonight without her.
Well, if she sees us on the video, she's going to get mad at me again. So about 10 months ago, her best friend asked her, please don't book this weekend because my son's getting married. So she booked an 8-room cabin on a lake for this wedding. And it was the only weekend I could get the classes I wanted and the facility, and I booked the pool. So she's at the wedding, and she's the one that's done all of our social media for the entire event.
Well, she's done a great job, and I'm sure she's very proud of you getting on the podium here. Talk a little bit about the people who have helped you make this happen.
Oh, my gosh. So we've got Steve. I'm promoting this with Stephen Schaus, and he has worked tirelessly for months and months. And this week, Nick Bloomberg and Eric Claypool, they have been here every day, no less than 12 hours, every single day. And then the other people that have been here preparing the track, which would be my father-in-law and Richard Waldron. They've worked tirelessly on this. And we had a big rain last night, so they had to work really, really hard to make the track what it was.
And I think that this win will help you all sleep just a little bit better tonight.
I think I'm going to sleep really good.
Yeah.
It's going to be Brandon Simon out of Farley, Iowa, coming up on the Simon Says. And again, your leaders out there at 3:58 and 92. Sitting in the number 2 spot, Dave Walsh on the 4 races at 3:34.81. And number 3, Brett Burge on the Ring Seed Moneymaker at 3:27.15. And Tom Owens on the Ramblin' Rose is sitting there in the number 4 spot at 3:27.09. And number 5 is going to go to Roland Langer on the Meristem Crop Performance. That is how it sits now. But Brandon Simon, Farley, Iowa. This is Simon Says. What a way to end the night. We will see if Brandon Simon can take the win. Had to be over 3:58.92 to be able to take the win here tonight. Get you his distance here again. Brandon Simon had to be over 3:58.92. How about 379.71? So Brandon Simon on Simon Says, last tractor in this class comes in and takes the win. I will give you the rundown of the class. Let them get that sorted out here quick. Finishing in the number 7 spot is going to go to Dave Walsh. Number 6 is going to go to Roland Langer on the Meristem Crop. Number 5 is going to go to Tom Owens on the Ramblin' Rose. Number 3 is going to go to Brett Burge on the Ring Seed. Number 3 is going to go to Dave Walsh on the 4 Aces. Number 2 is going to go to Dylan Owens on Thorn with a pull of 3:58.92. And again, the winner of the class tonight, Brandon Simon out of Farley, Iowa on Simon Says, winning pass at 379.71. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Hot Shot Secret Pro Pulling League, Champion Seed Western Series, and Kawasaki Parts House Silver Series, want to thank you very much for being with us tonight. And also, we will be back here tomorrow night. I believe pull time starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. But again, log into propulling.com to be able to see the results of tonight's. And tomorrow night, if you know somebody that cannot make it down here, but make sure you try to get down here yourself, but go to propulling.tv, be able to watch the live stream. So we will turn it over to the guys in the trailer, and we'll go from there.
So the distances were really getting big out there, and we knew that you were back there. We know you have a no-holds-barred mentality. I mean, was tonight one of those nights where you're like, yeah, I'm going for it no matter what. We're going to see just how far we can take it tonight?
Oh, it was kind of that way, but Jerry at the end of their flagman Nelson gave me the red flag there. I knew I had it covered, so I kind of let out of it there and tried to save our stuff for tomorrow. And we're second pass on it for today. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Sapico Oil on the products, on taking that abuse, what we did today. We got 2 first place. I couldn't do it without my wife and all my kids for supporting their dad. And Brad Walkout, he's like my big brother, but love him to death, and he works his butt off for me, and I'm just a lucky guy who gets to sit up on the seat. And my brother up in Toma, he's pulling tonight with the pros, and him and Brent Meyer, and they're doing good up there. They got the light mod 1 tonight too up there, so just says a kind of a statement of our team on what we're capable of doing throughout the season. And I left them up there in good hands, and we're in good hands down here with Pro Pulling League and John and Christy and everyone that's a part of that. We're happy to be here, and thanks for them for putting this on, and we'll hope to back it up again tomorrow night.